everyone, it's Kelsey over at Boston After School and Beyond. In this video, I'm going to be covering a great tool that we have access to in the database called the Participant Status Update tool. It's available via the Utilities tab to the left of your site info page. And it looks something like this. So this tool is a great resource for sites who have a lot of participants in the database, but only a few that will be enrolled in the current program, or for sites that work with different students every year. It essentially hides specific participants, given the information that you input into the tool here. It hides specific participants from your view, so that when you're completing activities in the database, like inputting enrollment via the program list tab, or reviewing specific participant records, you're really only dealing, or will only really be seeing, records of the active participants that are relevant to your kind of current enrollment cycle. So to illustrate what I mean, I'm actually going to be going kind of through the process of what a typical program might use this participant status update tool for. So I'm going to go into the program list tab. I've created a site that runs a program in 2 sessions. So earlier this year, they held session 1. They added participants, they enrolled them into the session really easily. They've collected attendance, and now they're ready to add participants to session 2's enrollment period. So you can see here, they have 15 enrolled students, and they've tracked attendance, and now they're ready to start enrolling students into their second session. But they notice when they go into the enrollment section of session 2, they look up all of their participants. They notice that session 1's names are showing up in the enrollment tab of session 2. So they know that once they upload the participants for session 2, when they go to enroll them, they'll be met with a list of both session 1 and session 2's participants. What will happen in that case is that they'll have the full list, and they won't be able to, select all of them. They'll have to go through the list and manually select participants that are relevant to that session. So they really want to make it easier and clean it up so that they don't have to do that. They don't have to go through and manually select the relevant participants. They just want to be able to push the all link and move forward. They want to be sure that they're only enrolling and they're enrolling everyone for session 2. So that's where the update status tool really comes in handy. So I'm going to take you into the tool itself via that Utilities tab on the left of your site information page, or any other tab in this list. You'll see the Utilities tab on the left. Click into the Status Update tool. So the way that the Status Update tool works is by selecting students in a variety of ways to be marked active versus inactive or hidden from your view. So students who have an active status you can use in the enrollment process, or easily access their participant records to review them and update them. So one way that students can be selected is by inputting the begin and end date of an upcoming program. So in the site situation that have the 2 different sessions, they essentially want to hide everybody in session 1, which is currently everyone they've added to the database. By putting in the begin and end date of the upcoming program and changing the active status, they've now marked everybody in the database as inactive. You can see here that no participants were marked active, and that's because by inputting those begin and end dates, you're essentially trying to select students that are enrolled in a program between those two dates. And since nobody is enrolled in that program between those two dates, nobody has been marked active, and everyone else has been marked inactive or hidden from your view. So you might find yourself in a similar situation at the start of a new year when all of your participants for this upcoming program are new, and you want to hide all the previous year's participants who are currently or who will remain active in the database until you tell this tool to mark them otherwise. So we've gone ahead, we've marked every participant in the database inactive. Now, once this site uploads session 2's participants, they will be uploaded to the database as active. Additionally, any students that are returning, so any students that were in session 1 that this program also wants to be in session 2, will be automatically marked active again as long as they are included in the upload. So let's try this. Let's go out to the site list and into the upload tab. So we're out of the site list. Our upload tab is available. Let's choose this tutorial's participant upload and try uploading them. All right, so everybody was uploaded without any errors. If we go into our participants tab now to view the list of participants we have, we should have only 15 names listed as active, and sure enough, here we do. In this little box up here, you can see a drop-down of all students, inactive students or active. So this is a status drop-down. If we want to see all of the students, both inactive and active, here we can see that there were the students that were hidden from that utilities list. We can also just view the inactive, which is only 10 because 5 of them happened to also be in session 2. So we have our list now just active participants, which were included in our most recent upload. And so now when we go into the program list, click on tutorial session 2, go into the enrollment, and go through that process. Oops. I'm going to click on all. Now we have a list, shortened list, easy list of the students we wanted in this session. We click all, next step, and we have nothing to worry about. We know these students, all of these students should be enrolled in this program. We know we've caught everybody. We know we're not missing anyone, and we know we're not adding anybody who shouldn't be in session 2. And this utilities tool really automates the process. Instead of having to go through and manually select your students, you've cleaned your participant list up so that you can go ahead and click on all and keep moving forward. Now, I also wanted to show you another cool thing about the utilities tool, which is the query tool inside it. Now, this is going to be really helpful if you have a program that sees the same students every year, except for after they graduate out of the school. So say you have you work in a middle school and you serve students grades K through 8. And after 8th grade, once they've graduated out of middle school, they're no longer participating in your program. And so you know that everybody else is going to be returning, so you just want to get rid of the 8th graders or hide the 8th graders. So you still have to do the begin and end date. So let's just stick with the upcoming program. And then you want to click here to set your participants. So I'm going to actually use age, but you can see here that you can choose 8th grade or 12th grade. You can also, if you have a female cohort or a male cohort, you can choose either of these. There's a whole lot of other things. You can You can hide students from a specific previous activity. You can hide students who only attended a certain number of days, things like that. So you can do a lot of different things. So say a variety of different ways that you can select people. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the 17-year-olds. So I'm going to say that the minimum age is 17 for the people that I want to remove from this program. So I'm going to find a person. And you can see that 2 people were found with a minimum age of 17. So I'm going to go back, clicking the return button again to go back out to the status update tool. So I've selected those 2 people. I'm going to go ahead and input the upcoming. Great. I'm going to click the Use Query tool with the 2 selected students, and I'm going to click Change Active Status. Okay, now you can see that no participants were set to active, but 2 participants were set to inactive. So there's a bit of a difference between how you're selecting students to set them active versus how you're selecting students, or how you're selecting students using the dates and how you're selecting students via the query tool. So when you're just using the dates, you're really selecting students who are currently enrolled between those 2 dates, and you want to mark them active. So when you don't have anyone housed between those dates, everybody is marked inactive. However, if you use the query tool within those 2 dates, anybody you select using the query tool is going to be marked inactive. So when you're selecting, you want to keep in mind, who do I not want to see in this list? In the list of student participants to be enrolled between 10/3 and 10/28. Then you access the query, you mark the students you don't want to see, and they will become inactive. And that's how to use it. So there's kind of 2 ways to go about it, a lot of different varieties of and situations in which this can be used. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to yshelp@bostonbeyond.org. Thank you.